Hey guys, it's Sam with Not Included Car Club. Today we're working on my 2016 Focus RS. Ron at Whoosh Motorsports sent me some charge pipes to install. So we're getting them installed and we're going to do a little review on them.
Hey, yo, little Mexico, pass the gas.
Juice sipper, I'm a K-roll, we mix it like that 30 on me, nigga. Sippin' dirty, this ain't liquor. Some my jeans, they got the zippers. Red bottoms like the Clippers. Like your bitch, I'm finna hit it. Then I pass it to my nigga. Ayy, juice sipper, I'm a K-roll, we mix it like that 30 on me, nigga. Sippin' dirty, this ain't liquor.
It's a trumpet.
What, my exhaust?
Yeah. It sounds like a VQ.
No, that's not true.
So we've got the car in the air now on the lift. If you don't have a lift, obviously just do this on jack stands. It's not too terrible to crawl under here to get it. But the first thing you're gonna need to take off is gonna be this little bit of a splash shield. We don't have the belly pan shield. That's just been deleted. If you own one of these, you already know the deal. But this one's still on, so it's got a couple of 10 mils and a couple of push tab pins. We've already pulled a few, but you're gonna have around 10 or 12 across the front, and you're gonna have about 3 of those 10 mil bolts, and then you'll have 2 more 10 mils. One that's tucked up here, and you'll have to turn the wheel to get to it, and another one that's tucked up in the same spot on the opposite side. Once you get that off, that's gonna create a lot more access to get to the worm band right here to get this hose off to put on the Whoosh hose. And then we got a few more that we got to put on. We got one coming up in here to the turbo, and then we have this one over here, correct?
Yeah, that's that one.
So we've got 3 different lines, or 3 different hoses we're gonna install. You're gonna have to clip that.
Charge pipes?
Charge pipes, yes. We have 3 different charge pipes we're gonna install on here. We're supposed to create more flow and just be more efficient for your forced induction. Still gotta get that last one off over there and some more push pins.
That bolt's been deleted. Oh no, it's not. It's still good.
It's been deleted.
If you're gonna do if you've already done trim work or you're gonna do anything that is trim related or push trim related,
we don't need to take that one off.
this is gonna be one of these tools. A trim remover tool is gonna be your best friend.
Go to Harbor Freight and get their set of push pins. It's like $7 and you get 60 of them.
These
There's
are
a bunch of
known to
different
break.
sizes.
I've had 3 break on me so far.
If you go spend $8 to $12 at Harbor Freight,
Number 4.
you can get a whole set of 60 of those different styles. So any that you break, you'll have them.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Harbor
by-
Freight sponsor us.
Harbor Freight sponsor us.
So once you've gotten this plastic trim off and you get access to these 2 bolts, you'll loosen them up on the worm bands, and then it should just pop right out with ease. So you'll slide that out, slide it off of the intercooler, and then you'll put on the new one. So this one's gonna use the 2 larger worm bands that came in the kit. All right, so now you'll take the new charge pipe. Don't forget your band up top.
That's what this one is. It just slid.
Okay, and then go ahead, you'll slide both your bands on. You can slide them on either side, whether it's on the plastic charge pipe or on the new Whoosh ones. So with the new bands that were sent with Whoosh, they are a 8mm nut, but the stock ones are 7. Technically you could reuse your stock ones, but it's recommended. If you're already in there, let's go ahead and put those new ones on, be fresh and good to go. These, especially after a while when they get real hot or have been removed a lot of times, can be prone to snapping in this area. So we send you some new ones, go ahead and put them on there, call it a day. So first we're gonna tighten down the one up on the intercooler. It doesn't matter which side you start with, but. So when you're installing this charge pipe right here, what is recommended is you'll go ahead and line it up and get it clamped down on this side. Not too tight, you want it a little bit loose just so you can rotate it. You may need to rotate this entire charge pipe to get the fitment right, and then you'll slide it up into here on the intercooler and tighten that down. And once you've got this kind of snug, you'll come back here and finish tightening, then come back onto the intercooler side and tighten it the rest of the way, and you'll be good to go on that first one. Coming off the other side of the intercooler. So if you want to come over here,
Up here by it goes into the turbo itself.
it's in the back. So unfortunately, like a lot of times when you work on cars, things can be difficult to get to. It can be done to get to this, and loosen it with a small 1/4-inch drive ratchet. But this right here is gonna be your savior. A nice extension with a 90 attached to your little zip gun. Make things a lot easier. But it can be done with a 1/4-inch. You just gotta have a little bit of patience, maybe some small hands. So once you get this one out, now you can take the one off of the intercooler to get the intercooler pipe removed. There we go. All right, so if you'll notice on the pipe that you bring down on this side, there's a little bit of a difference in the one that Whoosh sent and the one that came off the vehicle. That's because it is a 2-piece. So the other bit runs up onto the throttle body, and there are 2 bands you have to remove. One of them you can get from the bottom. The other one you're gonna have to come from up top. It's a little bit difficult to get to, but luckily once you get everything off, you can orient the bands how you like to get to them easier.
It is off now.
So for this install, you're really going to need to go ahead and get you one of these 90s if you already have a little handheld impact gun, just to be able to get to these bolts. You could try again with extensions and some wobbles on a 1/4-inch drive socket, but this is gonna make your life a lot easier. You can get these for anywhere 20 to 50 bucks from parts stores or hardware stores. So once you get that band off, you're gonna wanna work this off of the throttle body. It might be easier to go from the bottom, so we're gonna put this in the air. We have a magic lift. It lifts on its own.
Too wide, go.
So you'll just kind of wiggle this out back and forth. You'll be able to slide it out. And this would have been in the stock. Like so. Where's the one from Whoosh? So now, when you get your comparison, they are identical. So bear that in mind. And the install will be the reverse of the removal procedure. Hey, Sam, before you line that up on that throttle body, let's go ahead and orient this band in the position that you want it to make it easier for...
So let's figure just straight like
We'll
that.
do a slight angle. I think that'll work.
A slight angle.
And keep it loose until we lower the vehicle down and can adjust it. So, just to recap, you will be able to get that lower band off from the underneath the vehicle. The upper you will need to go from the top. Like I said, you more than likely can get it with some wobbles and a 1/4-inch drive ratchet with your 7mm socket, or you can get you a 90 from hardware store and put it on your little impact gun and make your life a lot easier. If you're going to be doing a lot of installs or any work on your car, it's just stuff that you're going to probably want to get.
Wiggled it on there.
Okay, and then now that you have it attached to the throttle body, we'll come over here to the intercooler. Slide this bad boy onto the intercooler. If you want to come over here, I'll show you. So again, the glory of, it's over here, the glory of taking off these bands and putting them back on is you can orient them in a way that you can access them easier. So now we can go ahead and put that there, have a little easier access to it. We're lined up at the throttle body, we're attached to the intercooler. So now we're gonna go ahead and tighten this one down. If you know you're on the throttle body good enough, you could tighten this down all the way, but we're gonna go ahead and not give it all of the tension just in case we need to adjust this a little more. So one thing I wanted to mention just to make your installation a little easier for you. When you're inserting on the throttle body, because it's straight vertical, you're gonna have an issue. If your band's too loose, it's just gonna keep falling down. You're gonna have to try and hold it up while you're tightening it, and you're gonna be in a really tight area. If you wanna go ahead and show him how much room he's working with right now. So it's a real tight area. So what I'm gonna recommend that y'all do is go ahead and tighten this down till it starts making tension on the hose. I'm just using the old one as an example because the current one's on the vehicle. You're gonna wanna tighten it down to where that hose is just starting to make, the clamp is just starting to make pressure on the hose. That way it kind of stays in place when you slide it up in there. It might slide down a little bit. You might have to play with it, loosening and tightening as needed just to kind of get it over the beveled edge on the throttle body. But once you get it up on there, and you'll be able to tighten it down a lot easier instead of trying to hold it up from the back while you're tightening the nut down. Just trying to help y'all have a smoother install. So you're gonna have...
You can zoom in too if you need to.
Can I take this? So you're gonna have this bolt down here, and that's gonna be the bolt for your worm clamp. It's really hard to see. It's a real tight area. I do apologize. Let me see that light. So you'll see that one nut for that hose clamp. And once that's tightened down, you're good for that charge pipe. So the next step will be,
Small one that goes into the turbo itself.
and this one you're gonna have to do from underneath the vehicle. So let's go ahead and get this thing in the air real quick.
Those are the ones you're gonna want to use. And like Chino said before, to make this easier on you, tighten it to where it's snug. That way it's not sliding off of the boost hose. Then go back onto the turbo. Is I'm gonna loosen this so I can pull down on it a little bit more. This solid charge pipe here in the middle, you'll just take a 10 mil and you can loosen it and it'll give you some play. So now that you got some play in there, it's easier to do this bottom one first. Kind of angle it up there at an angle. Work it down there. Now that it's on, pull down on this. Make sure you don't lose that hose clamp. Like I just did. And then once you have that bottom on, slide it up. Guess what? I got that too tight. It's gonna stretch a little bit when you go over the lip of the turbo. So this install wasn't too bad since we do have a lift. If you have a lift, I'd say it's about a 1 out of 5. If you're doing it on the ground, probably a 2 or a 3 just because you're laying on your back. You're not able to have a good angle like we do here. I'm excited to get this on the road, see if it increases throttle response, get a little more boost faster with the high flow charge pipes. So I don't work on cars for a living, I do it more as a hobby. And this is a good beginner install. It's real easy, quick, you know, anybody can do it. I'm not like these guys who work on it all day. Overall quality of these are really well. You can see all the Whoosh logos on every end. The one that goes up to the throttle body, you can actually see that one from up top. And you can see this driver's side one from up top if you're looking down as well. And you'll also be able to see those logos. They flex like they're supposed to, but they don't feel too flimsy and they're not too stiff, so they're not solid.
Go.
Big shout out to Ron for sending these out for us to try them out. We're looking forward to working with them in the future as well on other parts for other vehicles. And after we do some road testing, we'll be able to give some accurate feedback on the actual performance improvements we get from these Whoosh Motorsports charge pipes. And I do have a access port, and so we'll be able to data log it and you see more info than we will just off of the boost gauge.